So, Sports Illustrated gave their predictions on who they think are going to be the finalists or some new finalists for the All-Pro list for 2024. If you don't know who the All-Pro list is or what this is, pretty much the AP list is there's two different teams. It's the first team and the second team, offense and defense. Every single position, quarterback, running back, there's, by the way, multiple of each position, fullback, wide receiver, tight end, left tackle, left guard. It's every single position in football. So they do this to kind of say these are the best players at this single position. And of course, you have two different teams that can go technically head-to-head in theory. So, of course, this is what it is. So Lamar Jackson, for example, last year was the AP most important quarterback for the first team. And then the second team was Dak Prescott. So that's kind of how the whole situation works. Now, last year, I believe, did we have any players on the first? We didn't have any players on the first team, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, we had no players on the first team. I don't think we had any players on the second team either. Maybe Trey? Okay, Trey was, never mind. Trey was on the first team last year. I don't think we had anyone else on the first team last year. Jesse Bates, still missed the guy. But yeah, so overall wise, other than Trey Hendrickson, who had 17.5 sack season, we didn't have anyone else on that list. So Sports Illustrated is predicting some players. It says NFL first time All-Pros, which, okay. Quarterback Joe Burrow. Ooh. Here's what I'll say about this. The NFL has to agree to this and decide that they want Joe on there over Patty or over Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen. Like, on my list, yes, he'll always be on the All-Pro AP number one, right? He's played the whole entire season. It's a fantastic season. It's kind of, in my opinion, this is a little bit like the MVP award, where I feel like it's really hard for a player the NFL doesn't love and thinks of it as a darling to make the list. But, hey, listen, I would love to see this. It's just I'm looking at this realistically. I'm not looking at this in the aspect of, like, does he deserve it? Because I think he definitely will deserve it and does deserve it. But I'm thinking about this in the aspect of what the NFL would do. And I don't know if he would make it over Lamar again or over, somebody else. But anyway, running back, James Cook. Let him cook. We got CJ Ham at fullback. Wide receivers, Nico Collins, DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk. Even though he might not be on the 49ers this upcoming season, Brandon Ayuk, that is. Tight end, Sam Laporta, Detroit Lions. Kevin Zeitler for the Lions. That'd be interesting. Steve for the center. We have Trey Smith for right guard. Braden Smith for right tackle. Edge rushers. Defensive ends, Trey Hendrickson. So, kind of interesting that they put Trey on here. And the only reason why I say that is because is this not the predicting the 2024 NFL first time All-Pros? First time, right? Trey won it last year. He was on the list last year. So, not sure exactly about that one. I'm guessing they're just saying that there are some players who are first time. But yeah, Trey definitely will be on there. Let's go through this list before I give my predictions. Jalen Carter, 100% probably will be on there. Linebackers, okay. Corners, slot corner, safeties. Okay, so here's what I'll say. Harrison Butker being on there would be interesting, because that would be controversial. The punter should be Matt Ariza. Even though he's a Chiefs punter, I don't care. Like, he deserves to be on there. All right, so here's what I'll say, right? Going back to the top. If I had to give my prediction, right, and this wasn't biased toward against us with the NFL, 100% Joe Burrow is number one on my list. 100%. Running back wise, do I think any of our running backs will hit this list? And the answer to that question is no. I don't think so. I think we're going to have really great seasons with our running backs, but I could not see one of our running backs hitting this list. Just because this is a really prestigious list when it comes to the best of the best. While I love Chase Brown, I think Chase Brown's going to really take off this year and become a superstar for the future. I don't know if he's there yet. And same thing with Zach Moss. I don't think he's going to be at that point. Anyway, wide receivers. I definitely could see Jamar Chase if Joe plays all 18 games, which he should. All 17 games, excuse me. I 100% could see him hitting this list for wide receivers. I could also see T. Higgins potentially making this list for wide receivers. Outside of that, and again, I'm not being biased here. I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. Yeah, I don't think anybody else. Tight end wise, I love Mike Gesicki, but I don't think he'll make the list for that. Tackle wise, Orlando Brown, I think he'll be great this season, but again, there's a lot of great tackles in the league. I don't think our offensive line in general will make this list. Edge rushers. So defensive end and edge rushers get different. No, I'm not going to put any of our edge rushers on there. Defensive lineman, 100% Trey will make this list, no doubt about that. Outside of Trey, Miles Murphy, who I think would be considered an edge rusher, really take a step forward maybe, but I'm probably going to say no for that. Defensive tackles. This is where I think could get interesting. I don't know if BJ Hill would hit this list, and I think Chris Jenkins is going to be too young to hit this list, but I think Chris Jenkins eventually will make this list 100%. When it comes to what's his name, BJ Hill, he just isn't a pass rusher. He's more of a run stuffer, so I don't think he'll make this list for that reason. Even DJ Reader, who had a great year last year and been really dominant, hasn't hit the list. Linebackers, I still think Logan Wilson should eventually hit this list. I know not everyone agrees with me there. Some people are like, oh, Logan Wilson is not as great as you make him out to be. I think he's amazing, honestly. I think Cam Taylor-Britt deserves to make this list 100%, and that's not me being biased. That's me being as truthful as possible. I think he is a fantastic cornerback, and I think he is very much underrated. I think he's an absolute freaking gem, and I think he deserves to be on this list. He is a top 10 cornerback in the NFL, no matter what anyone tells me down below in the comment section. Slot corner, Mike Hilton deserves to be on this list, but I understand the age and everything, and maybe they're like, hey, listen, we're going to give it to a younger guy because, yeah. Safeties, I think Jordan Battle could eventually hit this list. I don't know if he'll hit this list this upcoming season, but I definitely think he can hit this list eventually. Kicker, I don't think they're ever going to give Money Mac the appreciation he deserves. Punter, Austin could potentially, could potentially make this list as well. And we don't want to have great kicker, punt returner. So overall wise, excited to see how this ends up turning out, but I think we're giving the NFL a lot of credit when it comes to certain things that they're going to give us and give us player wise to make this list. But hey, it's always possible that we get AP number 2.